everyone, and welcome to I Have Comic Issues, and this is Comic Channel Origins, and my name's Bryant, and tonight I have the privilege of interviewing Rob from Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics, all the way from across the country. He is here tonight. Let me bring him in for you. Welcome, Rob. Thank you.
It's me.
So, how's everything going on the West Coast for you?
It's a little bit lighter than a day, more daylight right now than you have where you're at, and we are a bit warmer.
Okay. Yes, it's actually in the I think low 50s here right now, and it's been raining
Well,
for
then we're not
3 days.
that much warmer then.
Yeah,
I
but it's
think
been
we're in the. I think we're in the. We hit up somewhere near the low 60s, but
yeah, it's going to be quite it's been quite chilly the last few days because it's been raining for 3 days straight, and I deliver packages in the rain, so a lot of fun.
oh yeah.
We already got our first chat, Dr. Von Hoot.
The esteemed good doctor.
Well, we have a lot of them. We have a lot of issues, DVH, but we hope that most of them are comics. All right. Well, Rob, thank you for taking time out of your weekend to come on this show tonight. This is Comic Channel Origins, and I'm here today to talk to you about how and why you started your comic book YouTube channel. Because I'm sure there are a lot of other people that would like to know about how to start a YouTube channel and stuff like that. So let's get into it. And then DVH, I want you to know I stopped a pretty bad slasher movie to be here. Oh, nice.
Notice he had to stop a bad slasher movie. He wouldn't stop a good slasher movie.
Oh, okay, true.
But
All right, Rob. What inspired you to start your comic book YouTube channel, and what was your very first video?
no, well, uh, for YouTube, once I stopped, actually created it and made it public and doing comic book content. The first video would have been just me in my garage unboxing some PGX slabs, probably.
Okay.
During, I started my channel like a lot of folks during the pandemic. Um, I was collecting comics. I was getting into grading comics, and I was uh, grading at volume. So I was utilizing PGX as they were the cheapest grading company, and I was just grading books to have graded books. I was getting a little high, the high from sending in a book and getting that grade and going, yeah. And so cheap was easy. They were on the West Coast, so it was easy for me to ship to, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just sending a bunch of modern books in, and I just decided I'd been watching other people unbox comics and stuff on various YouTube channels as you're sitting at home figuring out something to do,
Right.
and it was kind of like I could do that. I don't know how interesting it'll be, but what the hell? And it was really ranky. Like I had no equipment to do any of this stuff, and I'm not a I'm older, so the idea of using my phone seemed weird, and that didn't seem right. So like I literally took like a Chromebook, that extra Chromebook I had laying around, and brought it out, and then I went into a meeting, a virtual meeting with myself, and recorded the meeting,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then would download the meeting video to upload to YouTube.
Right.
That's what I was doing. I didn't know anything about like OBS and stuff, like any of this other stuff. And yeah,
That's how I started too.
it was really bad. And like for a while, because it was my company's meeting software for some of my very early videos, like the company's watermark is in the top right corner of the screen or something. And then eventually I got better. But it's like I go back and I look at some of them. It's kind of funny. Some people like to look at them just because that's like to call full bearded Rob, because hadn't yet shaved off the full beard and gone to my goatee, because eventually that was you had to do that because of the pandemic. But how
Oh,
about technically I started it pre-pandemic, or at least pre-lockdown. I guess because if I had the full beard, which I did, that would have been pre-pandemic actually. Huh. Well, there you are then.
Okay.
I don't know.
Uh, ASS is asking about ketchup on hot dogs.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm very anti-ketchup. Ketchup has no purpose in life except to grow up to become barbecue sauce. Other than that, it's for children under the age of 8. It's the one thing that President Obama and I definitely agree on,
Hmm.
and
So
definitely
you
not
don't
on
put
ketchup.
ketchup on fries?
No, the closest I ever come is maybe some fry sauce, which is a mix of like mayonnaise and ketchup and other stuff, but never straight ketchup. That stuff's nasty. I'd rather put mustard on fries.
They know a lot
It's
about your disdain about ketchup.
it's not that American ketchup's any worse than any other ketchup. It's just that it's sweet, and I'm not a big fan of tomatoes, um, other than like a pasta sauce. But so I'm not a fan of sweet ketchup, and I just think it's for children. It's growing up, I was eating it. I'd like eat a hot dog and would put ketchup on it. I never liked hot dogs. I was like, oh, this is like not good. And then one day somebody said, well, then don't put ketchup on it. Why don't you try putting mustard on it? My world changed. Suddenly the skies opened and the sun came down upon me. It was like seen straight out of Monty Python,
And there's a
and I
choir of
fell in love.
angels.
Yeah, exactly. So
Just want a quick reminder for everybody that if Rob is part of the Comics Curing Cancer, and I do have the QR code at the top of the screen right here.
other
I
side.
think, yeah,
Yeah, there
there.
you go.
Right. Got to learn the whole YouTube pointing thing. But up there, QR code. If you want to go check out Comics Curing Cancer, please do that and support a great cause. So, all right,
Absolutely. We're trying to hit that stretch goal.
yeah. Well, you've already hit one stretch goal, and
Yeah, it's true. We got over 65,000, and
yeah,
it'd be really nice to be able to. I don't know that we'd be able to raise another 5,000, $4,000 this month, but if we, that's obviously the dream is to be able to hit that 70,000 mark before the end of the year. We got another um, online auction queued up that will be dropping pretty quickly here, and so those items are already posted on the website, so you can go
okay,
there if nothing else just to preview the items that'll be coming up.
okay. And this is the link to the event page, I
Yep,
think. Okay.
the comicscaringcancer.org.
Right. Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
put in.
Yep.
All right. JSS dropping some other links
Thank you,
to your
sir.
channel. Excuse me. Was there a specific, next question? Just no real segue, but we'll just move on to the next
No,
question.
I got it.
Uh, was there a specific moment or video where you felt like your video might have taken off, or a particular live stream show that might have helped out?
Uh, you know, I don't. I really kind of think of it more of like there's always videos that'll hit every once in a while, and so what? So, no Italian food. No, no. I like pasta sauce.
Yeah.
It's different. You infuse it with earthy stuff. Anyways, I could go into a whole food tangent, and these guys know it. They'll try to derail us with food nonstop. I am an eater, but you don't become a fat man just by where else. Anyways, you'll have videos that pop off, and there are certain videos that are more likely to pop off than others for me. But what really was the turning point, really for me, where I felt like, oh, maybe I could keep going on this, was because early on, I think we all have those moments where we go, man, why am I doing this? I'm putting a ton of effort into this. Nobody's paying attention to what I'm doing. It's frustrating, right? Um, and because initially you just go, the first time you're doing it, you sort of go, ooh, once you get like 20 people subscribed, oh my God, 20 people actually paying attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then those videos get one or two views and you're like, oh, but it was, I think at the time I had like 60 or 70 subscribers, and Rod the Rican reached out to me and said, hey, he was doing a thing where he features upcoming other channels that they find. And he goes, I'm going to feature you, do a shout out and feature you on my channel. And I was like, I was, what is it? What the hell? I had never, this concept that people would just be nice and like try to help one another of their own free will. That was not, I'm not used to that in the real world.
Right.
Right. That happens in these types of, these tighter knit communities. And it was something that was completely new concept to me. And I was like, wow. And so I watched that video and I got some more subs. And then a couple months later, another person, Small Town Collectibles, who doesn't do anything anymore, but uh, he then all of a sudden I didn't even know he was doing a shout out. Somebody else reached out to me and said, "Oh, hey, I'm subscribing to your channel because Small Town Collectibles shouted us both out," and it was like over Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay.
And I went back and I'm like, "Who is this small?" Look at it, watch the video, and he's shouting us out and all this stuff. And I'm like, as all of a sudden I was like, "Wow, this is something I want to be a part of." And then that's how I then got integrated into my first kind of like core group of community members, uh, Gary B, and it's probably like the only one who's still left of them. Most of the rest of them have gone off and stopped doing comic content, but eventually it would spill over into like DJ Links and Legion of Comics, who of course obviously I run C3 with.
Right.
So those were some of my earliest connections uh, doing this, and so yeah, it's this community is amazing the way that they'll lift each other up, and that more than anything was a moment I felt like I can continue to do this and the hell with anything else. I mean, I don't, because I'm not in this to get a million views on something. I'm not in this to try to make money and quit my job. I'm not in this to do any of that stuff. I'm just sharing my passion of my comics, but knowing that you had some friends who actually care and people who are willing to help you get your message out. So that's where I was like, oh, okay, that's that type of thing was the first piece for me that said, let's do this. Let's just keep going and make it part of my life now.
And JSS is giving you a shout out about appearing on your Only Slabs show.
Well, I really appreciate, it's this is the other piece now as I grow, and with Only Slabs, I so many folks, JSS Brooklyn, I love and appreciate him and his wife and all that they do in supporting this community as well. He and so many folks, it's amazing. I still think of myself as this idiot because I am. Let's forget that sub counts are all relative in the grand
Mhm.
scheme of things. I am a minuscule gnat on the YouTube world, right? And the so to me, reaching out to folks and getting them to be able to fill this weekly show is, oh, it's work. It gets easier, but it's yeah, I agree. and and so getting guests on and having them on and getting that feedback from guests like JSSO and some of the others that come back and just say how much it means to them to be on the show. It's nice to hear that, just not to inflate yourself, but to know that then that you're helping others to make those connections. You're helping them to feel like I felt early on when I was getting into some of this stuff and feeling supported and feeling valued as an individual and being appreciated for me and the things that I want to collect and not necessarily what everybody else thinks you should be collecting. So that's the whole point of Only Slabs, and I very much appreciate you, Brooklyn.
Knucking Futz. Uh, this Knucking Futz one?
There's really only one ducking futz.
No, I know. I'm just.
Yeah, it's
I,
YouTube's been adding extra numbers to people. Yeah.
I've been watching your Only Slab show long enough to know your joke. uh, Talked about Lord of the Long Box.
Yeah.
Oh,
I appreciate that, sir. Really appreciate you. Yeah.
um, and I guess you're talking about the shout outs and stuff like that. I guess YouTube's kind of incorporated that here um, in itself now with the whole collaboration feature is kind of their version of helping out with shout outs a little bit.
Um, somewhat. I mean, it's not really a shout out tool, but I mean, what it's really meant to do is things, whether it be things like this or things that are a true collaboration of doing of content, right? So, in the case of like, say, take only slabs, it's it's a true collaboration of Chris the comic vet and myself.
Right,
Um, I happen to host it. We're not bouncing it back and forth between two different channels. I've done that in the past when I used to do a show called Sidekicks Talk Comics, was slotted up way back in my early days, and that was a show where we were collaborating, but we would like ping pong it back and forth between two different channels, alternating weeks. That's difficult for people to follow. Where
right,
channels it on, whatever else, right? Of being able to set it up on one channel but have a collaboration where you can sit there and it shows, especially pre-recorded content where it shows on both channels or after the fact, at least like this after the fact, you can set it to collaborate with me and it shows up on my channel, and now everybody who come sees the stuff on my channel sees you're still getting the view credits and everything else as the content creator host, but creating these connections. Part of what YouTube's algorithm now is trying to look for is retention and engagement on platform.
right,
And by you doing something that's collaborated, it helps to create those connections for it to make suggestions already based on that, as well as help people discover things. So I have a new collaboration, for example, that's coming up with E-Man, that he and I are doing a once a month show. At least
okay,
that's our hope, and it's going to air on his channel, and it'll be a pre-recorded content, and it'll collab on my channel. What'll happen is when it goes live, it'll broadcast that live to both his channel and my channel simultaneously.
right,
So it's hosted on his channel. He's going to get all the view credits, but he gets the benefit by working and collaborating with me. All of my subscribers get the same notification and they might watch it on my channel. He still gets credit, but now they also see his link right there and they can quickly and easily also go check out his other content and, um, and subscribe. So it's a great way for me to help a friend who has a much lower subscription count, has, let's be honest, far greater video quality and editing content than I have.
right.
And it's a great way for me to not only work alongside with my buddy, but help him to elevate his channel.
One of your partners in crime, Legion.
Yeah, absolutely. He is the kingpin of crime. I mean, how's it go, buddy? Mark.
Yeah, I talked to E-Man a couple weeks ago. He was a past guest on this show, so that was a fun one.
Yeah, he's great. I love you, man.
Yeah, I like his videos. His editing is up there with DJ, and
Hmm.
they're some of the best comic book YouTube editors I've seen.
Yeah, and that's where it's really. I mean, I that's why I really want to be able to help somebody like that, because you look at E-Man and how much effort he puts into those. That's not easy stuff to do that high level of production.
Right,
I know that because I used to, when I grew up in school, I was in TV and radio production. So I understand what goes into it, even if I don't do it myself today. And to see that, and I know how easy it is to get frustrated if you're only getting a few views on something to do that. So it's, us supporting each other and lifting those first steps to help somebody who can continue to develop the creative content.
yeah, the collaboration features is great in my opinion because like
Mhm.
I had lunch money on the show also, and I think he has like 21,000 subscribers, and he collaborated with me on it, and got a lot of people came in and saw it and subscribed to my channel because of the collaboration with him. They wouldn't have seen me otherwise, so it definitely helps
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, there's two different ways you do. Obviously, the live stream, you can also split view stuff. The only problem with that is then the chats get segmented. But
Right. Yeah, because you do. What's your Friday
the
night
low
show that
grades,
you're on?
yeah, the low grades, yeah, where I do restream that is simultaneous on my channel as well as the low grades channel, and it does have two different chats essentially then that are going on, that are consolidated in our view, but everybody can't see each other's chat
Right.
necessarily. So it's a little bit awkward. It's the same thing happens if you run the new 4x3 and 16:9 formats and stuff. But the ultimately at the end of the day, though, it has brought a lot new viewers to the show. So
Yeah,
for
because
Shoutouts.
since I watch your channel more than I watch that channel, I always get the notification that you're on, uh,
Yeah.
not near mint. And I'm like, and then I've watched and I'm like, well, okay, then the host isn't actually seeing everything, or it seemed weird. So
Well, the host sees everything, but not the other guests. The guests that are in the other chat
okay,
can't. So in the host here, if we this is behind the scenes for everybody else who's watching this stuff, right? So if you're hosting a stream, your chat that you have that populates here on your right hand side, that is all chats that you're streaming to simultaneously into one feed. So whether it's multiple YouTube channels, whether it's a YouTube and a Facebook, a YouTube and a Twitch, whatever, it all consolidates into one feed. You see it all, whatever you bring up on the screen, everybody sees. But everybody else, all the end users, can only see the chat messages that they're in on their screen. So the YouTubers can only see their YouTube chats that for the YouTube channel that they're connected to.
yeah. So and you do that show. How many live streams are you on a week? Yeah.
uh, well, two on Fridays and then Wednesday and then Saturday. So at least four. Then sometimes I show up on Mad Spideys or something else. So yeah, 4 to 5 a week. So yeah, it's like a job.
is uh is the new time for show is what you got easier for you, or not really because it's in prime time?
That's a good question. I don't know yet. So the 4 o'clock in the afternoon time is somewhat challenging for me at times,
Right.
only because my day is supposed to end at 3 p.m. because I work East Coast hours out of here on the West Coast.
Okay.
But as a manager, I'm often working more than 8 hours.
Right.
So sometimes it's like I'm cutting something off at work to leave to switch computers, join that stream, and then have to afterwards switch back and finish up doing more work stuff. Whereas I won't have to do that here, but now it's going to be it's at least after dinner. Most of the rest of these East Coast streams I join are right in the middle of my dinner or my breakfast.
Yeah, I like the new time better because I mean it's like 10:30 for me, so I'm home and off work at that point. So
Right.
I even have had time to get to the comic book shop. Uh, and Legion saying you just need to observe real time.
No, he says my job observes real time. And it's not actually my job. It's just me personally, and that's only because I work with half my team is in Romania as well too. So I have to interface with them and the UK and the East Coast and the West Coast. So I have a good portion of the world I'm managing simultaneously.
No, a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Um, so, what would you say your niche is in the comic book uh, community, and how did you find it, and has it evolved over time?
You know, I would say for me, I always describe it as look, I focus on just collecting and the joy of collecting. There's a lot of different things that you can do within the comic book space. Uh, but ultimately, end of the day, my content that I create on my channel is Monday, me receiving books that are, here's my hauls, the stuff that I'm bringing in, the stuff that I'm collecting. And I like to do it. I'm a storyteller. So I like to do while I'm doing it, it's not just here's a book, here's a book, here's a book. I'm often trying incorporating the stories about why I collected and whatever. So I'm trying to break in some of those pieces of those elements into it. So I'll do Monday's my haul. Right now, Thursday is me showing off stuff that's already in my collection. And then Saturday, I'm featuring other collectors and what they collect, right? And that
Right.
accounts for 95% of my content. Every once in a while in there, I'll sprinkle in a little something else that's a, a product review or something else that's tied to collecting or what we're doing, how to package and ship something correctly, whatever else. But that's the extent. I don't want to venture into any of the spec or any of the stuff, not because I think it's bad. It's part of collecting, and there are
Right.
people, there's a segment to it. And some of that stuff, I would get into that if I wanted to be a really big channel, because those things do attract a lot of attention. But my whole element of who I am as a person has been from day one, collect what you want, man. Don't listen to what I'm telling you. You should do it's your money. Go spend it the way you want to. If you want to go buy nothing but Turok ones, Mark, then proper job. If I want to buy nothing but Ravage 2099 number ones, fine. It's not your money. You have no right to tell me whether I'm doing it right or wrong. And I have no right to tell you was doing it right or wrong, right? Unless I'm writing you the check. So
But there will be YouTube trolls out there that will tell you you're doing it wrong.
absolutely. And and I've had some trolls from time to time that will say that, especially since look, it's no one of the niches elements that I fall into is a lot of people know me as a slab guy. Uh, Even though slabs only account for about a tenth of 10% of my entire collection. Um, yeah, uh, it's it's I still have a lot, at nearly 1,200 graded comic books. It's a lot, but the I don't I don't profess. So I will get, as I'm showing off slabs, I will often get people who I get the people. Oh, why are you putting that thing in a coffin and da 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 da? Hey, and my response back to them almost all the time is always, I really appreciate you come in. I agree. There's different ways to do different things. And not everybody's going to do it the same way. And you should do what you feels right for your collection. And eh, that ends shit so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm really believing just taking anytime somebody's going to engage with you on something from an opposite side, take the bullets out of their gun. They can't shoot you in the face if they have no bullets.
Yeah. Did you hear about what happened to us,
I
Dave?
did. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate because Dave and I had been battling for the top 10, the number 10 spot on the CGC census for the Eternals run. And he was number 10 and I was 11. And I was hoping to pass him, but I didn't want to do it by having his collection stolen from him and my de facto falling into the number 10 spot. I wanted to do it the old fashioned way with rivalry. So yeah, no, it's super unfortunate that anybody, but Dave has a really nice collection, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucks. I
I hope
saw
they,
the
I hope
saw the
they, I
Instagram
hope
post
they
today.
catch. Yeah, I hope they catch whoever's responsible.
Yeah. So if you're watching in Australia, go check out Still Only 35 Cents Instagram post where he lists all the books and that. And I think he's going to even put the certain numbers. So if
He's
they
got a
you
lot
come
of them.
across it,
Yeah, yeah, he'll get certain numbers. He had Bridget on his registry, so
yeah. Yeah, I had a video that the last video I released was books that my wife bought me off or whatnot, and then people were like, "Oh, she did a bad job" or something like that. I'm like, I loved them because my wife bought comic books for me. So,
mm-hmm.
but they were trying to tell me that, oh, she should have bought shoes instead. I'm like, no, she.
Yep.
So, oh, sorry. Um, so, what comic book content performs the best on your channel, and why do you think that is? Is it the only slabs, or is it like the mail calls, or
Well, the best is always a relative term. So if you're looking
hey,
for
Matt?
just pure views, if that's your measurement of, oh, this video is better than another one because of views, then typically some of the um, CGC halls, the PGX to CGC conversion therapy, anything that if I say PGX and compare it to something else. So any of my old videos, my PGX versus CGC versus CBCS comparison videos, any of my PGX conversion theories, people love to hate PGX. Why I use PGX, why I don't use PGX, those are all very super high view count videos. A lot of the convention videos do extremely well. Um, and of course, any if you do a super clickbaity CGC, like what did CGC do this time, and those will always do well from a viewpoint standpoint. But to me, only Slabs is by far the best performing content on my channel for my measurement, and that comes with an engagement and connection with the viewers, right? All the other content I put out there, the pre-recorded content, it gets the views, people know it, they talk about things, but nothing brings people where they stop what they're doing to sit down and I got to watch this show, or I'm going to go back and rewind and watch this live show that's over because I want to see what this person had and getting to know each other, getting to learn what everybody's collecting, who, what type of books. I've met so many people that I've known that and they bring on books and I had no idea, even though I've followed them on Instagram and I've watched their YouTube channels, yet they still pull out books that I had no idea that they had or they were into. It's really fascinating. And of course, we have that beautiful chat that's during the live that we engage with. And it really has become a truly great part of the channel that I love. Um, and I couldn't imagine not doing it. Plus, obviously, the side benefit because because all that channel revenue that we do goes to provide us the money that we use to cover the shipping costs and our expenses with comics curing cancer. Um, that it's a great source because of the super chats, the way that people chime in and help out, because the revenue you make as a channel that's a monetized channel is a lot of jack and squat,
Right.
unless you're a million subscriber channel, right? So the real revenue that comes in is those memberships, the people who subscribe or choose to become channel members, and the people who provide the super chats on Saturday. Those are the folks that really make it possible for us to have this. This year's shipping expenses is around $2,900 at least, if not more. I haven't got the final total yet, but that's a rough estimate. That if we didn't have the revenue stream from this,
Right.
then we would be taking those receipts to the ACS and they'd be pulling out of the money that was donated to the ACS to reimburse us on this behalf. And that negates the purpose of so much of the stuff. So this allows us to have that and not touch the money that's already in there. Then at the end of the year, we get this benefit of, oh, what we had some left over. Great. Now we get to add that to the ACS donation pool at the end of the year. So we net zero. It's absolutely fabulous. And to me, that's what makes this only Slabs by far the best performing element of the channel.
Nucking Futz would like some new clips.
Oh, what you talking about, like the shorts made out of only Slabs? Is that the clips you're talking about?
I think that might be what he might be. I don't have
I have
clips, so
I used to do I experimented with those at one time. And then I stopped because for a while shorts was hurting the out was hurting your channel if you were a long form content. And now they've changed it again where now it's not necessarily hurting your channel, but I have limited time and I don't have an AI that makes good clips from that because of the format of that channel being or that show. It the AI tools I have that can make auto clips don't do a good job. We end up with like half faces and stuff.
right.
And so I have to do it manually and I just don't have the time, unfortunately. But I agree. I think the show is ripe for that type of stuff if I really wanted to. Oh, the super chat clips, those that element. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. It is fun every time I get a couple fresh ones in there. We do see a little bump. I do have to find some time to do that too. Yeah, I agree. Okay.
But we're all learning something today.
Yeah, those people, that's the thing is like those little clips that you play that are, if somebody makes a super chat, they're fun, and it does help. It fosters it. People want to see certain clips and get through it, and yeah,
Oh yeah,
appreciate.
I love the music because like I listen to your show while I'm
Uh
working, so I don't get to watch all of it, but it's always fun to hear that. Here's some beautiful bean footage.
huh. Yeah, then you get that little kind of funk that's sounds like it could be out
Yeah,
of a '70s porno. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Don't know anything about that. Uh,
If you
um,
you can imagine.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
use my imagination. Um, um, oh, on the only slabs,
Mhm.
my a question for you here, since I am starting or I've gotten more into live streaming, like how many watch hours does that particular show provide for you weekly? I guess. I
Mm.
mean, because
I don't.
I'm
Yeah.
coming from somebody that's trying to hit the watch hour mark that I need to hit.
Right.
Uh,
So I don't pay a ton of attention. I haven't for a long time because obviously I've hit that mark.
right.
But I've been doing the show since before I was monetized, and um, I monetized under the old rules that were, they're not as now. It's much easier today. So under the old rules, you had to have, I think it was like 5,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers or something like that in order to get monetized. And watch hours was never my problem. I had the watch hours long before. I think the average watch time for only slabs is about 25 minutes uh,
Okay,
per.
JSS.
So if you took the average video gets about 300 and something views at times 25 minutes. So it's a fair amount.
Yeah. So you're able to, you're definitely able to keep your watch hours above the 365-day limit that you need to.
Oh, yeah, I don't stress it at all.
The chat's kind of funny right now.
Well, I'm trying to pay attention to you and say, oh, okay, we're talking about the '70s porn. Got it.
Yeah.
Nice. This is what I love about this community.
so, so the only slabs is that definitely the best content on your channel, or
It's what I consider my flagship content. Um, right. The other stuff is it's it's my content.
right?
It's me. It's my stuff. And there's some interest in that. But I think that content I like, interview shows, and I like, stuff where with other people, presenting their stuff. Um, More so than watching somebody just show off opening boxes. Um, but it's what I do. But I mean, but ultimately, at the end of the day, people don't know. Yeah, people know I do only slabs, or people know I do a mail call. A lot of us do, but only slabs is what people know, associate me with often now. When I go to conventions, it's amazing to me how many people, even if they don't, either A will recognize the mustache that rides upon my face, or they'll recognize, or when I used to wear the only slabs jersey out and stuff, people go, oh yeah, dude, I get that. Or as soon as you they may not recognize it, make the connection initially, but as soon as they ask you about it, and you sit there and you start to explain, they go, oh yeah, I've seen that show. And it's amazing to me how, as the channel has grown, how recognizable it has become
Mhm.
elsewhere. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Even if we had to make trials and tribulations of doing name changes and rebranding it, partway through.
Yeah, I've heard that story. It sounds like it was a little bit of a pain to try to get all that straightened out.
It it was frustrating, and it's like, but the most frustrating part about it. So for anybody who doesn't know, the show was originally called Slab Hub, and it had nothing to do with, you know, all my problems of were had nothing to do with actual um, Pornhub. They didn't give a shit, you know, like, well, whatever. It was actually there was another company, there was another two guys in Texas that were running a pressing company who called themselves Slab Hub, and they also were modeling their imagery off of, you know, borrowing from the same. So two different things, but you know, similar result because there's only it's a limited graphic,
Right.
for God's sakes. And so they tried saying that I was infringing on them and their copyright, even though they don't understand that they didn't have copyright because they weren't actually producing anything that was copywritten. They might have had a trademark, perhaps, but that's a different ball of wax.
Right.
Anyways, uh, long story short, I've tried to get a lawyer to help to fight them, but none of the lawyers I reached out to seem to give a shit about a part of my French to about a YouTube channel. And so I just ended up rebranding. But Chip Getler, buddy of ours, came up with a great idea of a name. I did some uh, testing and so, you know, informal social testing amongst with friends and stuff, and turns out that most people preferred the Only Slabs name. It was more to the extent of what it was and less necessarily
Right.
um, you know, implying being tied to the adult site. And then along with it, it was nice that at the same time OnlyFans was nice enough to have changed their logo to their OF logo instead of their old logo, which I copy, um, you know, in our Only Slabs logo. So
And it works in very well with the whole like it's only about slabs.
mhm,
So
exactly. So people tend to it's better that way.
right. JSS has a question for you. What is the Black Sheep Club?
Yeah, the Black Sheep Comic Club is a comic book collectors club of people who basically say flock your top 10 list. We're going to do what we want to do. We want to collect what we want to collect, and we don't care. But we're going to support each other in doing so. So it's there was a there's been a lot of, if people are on Instagram, there's a lot of different things going on with different Instagram based comic book clubs going on. There was one really big nationwide club with multiple chapters. It blew up, and a lot of the individual chapters created their own little clubs. And so the Black Sheep is primarily West Coast, most of its members, but we do have members elsewhere. And it's really just about building our own community of collectors and supporting each other, regardless of what anybody wants to collect or how you want to collect.
Are all the members? Hmm, sorry, it's contagious. Are all the members YouTubers, or they all just YouTube, Instagram, just
No,
somehow
actually,
social?
the irony is when I first was joining the old club before the breakup, I actually got grief from a lot of the people because I was a YouTuber. Most of them were not YouTubers at the time. It's now growing, but they were basically Instagram and Facebook club initially. But there's a few of them that are branching out, doing different stuff, who are embracing it and having some fun with it, and realizing what you can do to have fun as an element of collecting. But at the end of the day, everybody just wants to do what we want to do. Nobody, there's no pressure on anyone to do anything different.
Okay. I think isn't Matt a new member or
Doghouse has been on the show.
no? But I was gonna say
Oh, no,
Heroes for
no.
Hire.
Oh, Matt joined Black Order, I think.
Okay, sorry.
Not to be confused, because Black Order spun out of Black Sheep. It's a they're all friendly. There's no rivalry. There's not going to be a comic book gang war anybody at the convention. Don't worry.
Okay.
You know, it's
The music's not gonna
just
start playing when y'all
yeah,
walk in
yeah.
from different
With people
sides.
making shivs out of backer boards. No, that's not going to happen. It's just It's just slightly different spins on more or less the same thing of, hey, can't let's just be friends and do what we want to do, you know?
Breaking slabs, making weapons.
Exactly, right?
um, so I'm going to guess the answer to this question is no. But how do you balance what you love to talk about with what the algorithm wants?
Yeah, I don't. So to a degree, I should say, right? Um, I'm not. I've from day one. I've never been concerned about being a big channel and doing and making money and everything else. Remember, for the longest time, I said I was not going to monetize my channel because I didn't give a darn about it. Then it was a friend of my one of my friends, actually, I think it was finally Small Town Collectibles, convinced me. He said, "Well, why would you let?" Yeah, exactly. DVH. Why
That would
would
make
you
a
let?
great video.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He said, Why would you let YouTube keep all that revenue? Then why wouldn't you do something, even if you just donate it to a charity? And hence the idea of making the channel revenue go to a charity or towards the charitable event type stuff. That's where that all kind of came out of. So I didn't care about any of that stuff. I knew I'd just do my own thing. Uh, because if I start building content based on trying to hit an algorithm, now that's work. This is a hobby to me.
Right.
And I'm just trying to share my hobby and my passion and be genuine as to who I am versus being concerned about being a big name YouTuber that gets attention when I go to a con or gets invited to be panel members or tell people tune in to listen to what comic should I buy. Let me tune in. You know, you're not going to get that stuff from me, so I don't care. Uh, Having said that, I am cognizant of the more recently this year. I've paid more attention to how the algorithm works, specifically paying attention to what YouTube specifically says. Forget what everybody else
Hmm.
tell all the billion channels that just tell you do this before you do that. Forget all of them. I only pay attention to what YouTube puts out stuff and tells you themselves what they do. They know
Right.
better than anybody. So I listen to them. And I have begun to utilize a custom GPT that I built
Okay.
to help me when I get do a video. I record a video, I edit a video, I go to it, and I tell it, here's what it already has information about what my channel is and what my stuff is all about. Then I feed into it. This video is about this. In this video, I unbox this and this and this and this, and I give it all the details of the video. And I ask it then to help me create a SEO, search engine optimized title
Hmm.
and brief description, right? I've also utilized it to help create optimize the body of the text, help to optimize my show channel description. So it just helped optimize different things, put
Right.
with the words, right? That's what I do. And then
I
I
like the way you
utilize
think.
those things. And then that's where I will take the YouTube information they provided and add that information to the custom GPT as part of its knowledge base. So it understands as it's building this stuff, it's doing so based off of what YouTube is telling us is the things that they value. And hence my then working with doing some of this different collaborations, some of these other things. And and look, the results aren't doesn't mean that all of a sudden I've seen certain videos have done really well with it, and some other videos just completely continue to do their own thing. Um, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit it's kind of cool rather than come up with the same. I can definitely see that like a title, some of my old titles are just like Monday Mail Haul, variants. All right, well, that's
Right.
boring. It doesn't excite me at all. Where when it comes up with something a little bit different, or it's like okay, cool, whatever.
It
Just
helps to
another
make the package better for the
yeah,
product.
yeah, and it's exactly it. And I'm not using it to create. I'm not saying okay, now create me a show script or anything else because none of my shows are scripted, so
Right.
it would be irrelevant. I mean, you could, but it's not. It's not. So at the end of the day, that's how I choose to utilize that tool, and that's as far as I care about the algorithm goes is just trying to take the content I'm already creating it and package it in a way that's more friendly to what the algorithm's going to do.
Right.
So
Okay. And Necking Futz is talking about the giveaways.
yeah,
Thought they were
that
rigged until he won one. So
that was, hey, you want to know how those that came about? I'll be honest. I know people like free stuff. The giveaway started as a way to get people to watch only slabs. I didn't think that at the beginning, I did not personally believe in myself or the concept enough to believe that people would genuinely enjoy the show. And so my own self-doubt made me believe that I had to give away, entice people to show up and sit through the show. Um, that's where it came from. Now I know I could get rid of it. It would minimally hurt the show, but I also now enjoy it, uh, giving it away, and everything else. So it's here to stay.
I will say I had beginner's luck. I got hooked on my very first show because I actually won the giveaway the very first show I watched. I was like, well, hell yeah, I'm watching this shit again.
Now it'll be 3 years before your next one.
And Matt said he got his 27th slab yesterday, so he's ready to come on. You can book him for
Congratulations,
March.
sir. More almost.
Uh,
Yeah.
and got Otaka Mike's in here. Everybody's saying hello to him. All right. So I'm sure you've been on for a couple of years now. So what is a mistake that you made early on that you wish that someone had warned you about?
Oh, geez. Um, Becoming Mark's friend. No, just kidding. In case he's still here. No, I don't know if I what a good answer to that is, because I've only, for the most part, I've never really cared a ton about, try any particular goals or anything else with the channel. So have I done things that haven't worked out well for the channel? Probably. But anything that you do that's, I've never done anything that's like really hurt the channel, and you can always uh, remove video content. But
Right.
um at times there's times I wish I had more ability to watch other people's content and be more aware of what everybody else is doing. um there's so many great channels out there, and I try to, I have a monitor that's running stuff that's on a, I put out friends on I put stuff that I'm subscribed to into a playlist, and it runs off to the side during work, but my work requires me to focus so much that a lot of times it's just out of the corner of your eye you see something.
Right.
I really just wish I had more time to really do that and participate with everybody else, because this thing is crazy. Um, this community is so cool. Just like I really wish that I could travel to more cons and meet more of the people in person. Um,
Right.
Because that is by far the most fun I have doing it. Um, is a lot of those events and the hangouts I enjoy, because I don't like going out tooling around with people that I don't have things in common with. But this is becomes a pre-select group of that stuff. But as far as stuff that I don't, I'm sure there's something out there that somebody out there knows. Oh, Rob, remember that time you did this? I bet you wish you didn't do that. But it doesn't come to my mind right now. And for the most part, I like to live with no regrets. If I did
Right.
something, I mean, there's times, probably if nothing else, being a 50 something year old guy, I say something that's probably something just comes out of my mouth that's not the most politically correct at times.
Right.
I wish I could have a few of those gimmies back, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's the what was the intent behind it when I said it, as opposed to, I don't use anything that comes out generally is meant to be humorous, and it's not meant with malice. And
Right.
anybody I've ever that's called me on it, I've talked it out with them. So I'm good. I'm good. Let's move.
Right.
Just collect what you want and do what you want. And what was, how'd that song go? Do what you like. There you
Okay.
go.
Earlier before we started the show, you said, uh, I don't need to bring any books, do you? And I said, no, but I mean, you have the great wall of books behind you, so you always got them.
It is true. Yeah, there's it. That was when I started doing YouTube and I moved. You're right. I'm not 50. I'm over 50. Um,
I will actually be 50 in 2 weeks from today.
happy birthday!
So,
Yeah. No, I've been in AARP for a while now. So, the when I first started collecting, it's funny. When I moved into the house and stopped doing stuff in my garage, uh, people didn't see this wall. My desk was oriented 180 degrees the other way. They saw the back of my living room, and but up above my computer, when I was looking at the wall, it was just originally I had some top loaders that were attached to the wall with command strips, and they just had uh, facsimile reprints in them. So I thought that was a cool comic book display for myself because people who didn't know would walk in. They just saw these beautiful copies of Amazing Fantasy 15 and Avengers 1 and Hulk 1 and Action Comics and all this stuff, and it looked great. And then later on, as I eventually flipped the desk around and started setting up some behind me, I didn't want to have the facsimiles and stuff behind me, and so it became let's go get some comics, some graded comics. And it started off as like 2 rows, and then I added another row above, and then I added this other row that's a partial row because my filing cabinet is over here that prevents me from putting more comics there and stuff. And I wish I was in my 40s. That would be phenomenal.
well, and glitter. That's why I'm recording this in 720. It's not high definition.
It's the Vaseline on the lens. Nice. I like it. Um, so these so yeah, it was the wall has evolved a lot over time, and now it's sad that people don't actually see it all because there's a whole nother row up here.
Okay.
Um, and it's in chronological order. So we start with the golden age books up at the top, and then we go down to silver age, bronze, and modern. And of course, right now taking over is the comics curing cancer, starting to take over the bottom row,
Okay.
just because it's such a big part of what I do now. So
And a quick question for you. How much space is between you and the actual wall? Because I know every time you do the giveaway, Chris says, watch your back, Rob.
well, he's usually watching my back to picking up the box,
Okay.
but it's not far. Matter of fact, this chair sometimes I'm in a very confined space here. Uh, this is a dining nook. I live in a small home. Meant to be a formal dining nook, and if I roll back too far and spin my chair, I knock books around and stuff. So it's not far at all.
Okay. So have you done that before on the show?
Never have I knocked a book down off the wall.
Okay.
Um, I have knocked a book where it slid or gone cockeyed a little bit, but that's about it. I know
Symmetrical.
everybody thinks there should be a book right here. It bugs them, but it's deceptive because the camera is seeing it at an angle. It makes it look like there's a big space there. In reality, if you look straight onto it, there's almost no space there, and then the book would be behind a filing cabinet, and it would be pointless. But
You wouldn't be able to see it and enjoy it.
yeah, I mean, I get it. I truly do, but it would. I think it would. I've thought about it just because I know what it would look like for YouTube. At the same time, I know it would look like for me in the real life, and I got to say it bugs me less on YouTube than it would bug me in the real life. Thank you very much, Glitter.
um, so, all right. Now, question about your planning and processing.
Mhm.
What is your process for planning your and producing your videos from idea to upload? Where I guess now is like you pretty much have a system now, don't you? You got the Monday mail call, you got the my slab or my only
Only
my
my slabs.
slabs,
Right. Yeah.
and then you
It,
have
it's
your live stream.
the nicest thing that ever happened was deciding to be consistent. When I first started doing YouTube, I was uploading, like, especially as I would receive books in, I couldn't hold books. I wanted to open them up right away, and just doing constant unboxing videos and stuff, and there was no rhyme or reason. And then over time, I kind of calmed down with that, and I decided that it would be easier, it would be better for me personally, as well as for the channel, to start just have consistency. And for a while, that was one of the things that YouTube was rewarding, was consistency. So I said, okay, I'm going to have this rhythm, and it helped me to balance my real world
Hmm.
with also the needs of the comic channel. Now, there's still times where I sit there and go, now because I built this consistency, I go, oh crap, I haven't done this, and now I got to get this video done because it's going to air tomorrow. I got to do this, and of course now it's like, oh, I got to get it done within a certain number of hours of before it's going to air, so that way the YouTube has a chance to figure out how it's going to work and stuff. But at the end of the day, that process of knowing, okay, I know what I'm doing on a Monday, a Thursday, and a Saturday as far as content goes. Uh, the content that I shoot doesn't require a ton of planning.
Right.
I'm unboxing books. I know or I'm showing off the books that are already in my collection. Those stories that I'll tell that are associated with them, they're all off the cuff. Every once in a while, I may sit there and go, "Man, I wish I had said that or said this," but yeah, I just like to wing it and go. It comes from the days of radio and stuff. Um, and in Saturday show, it's the biggest planner. It just
Right.
requires me to book guests, go find guests, build thumbnails, and
Yeah.
promote the show period. That's so.
Did this happen on one of your only slab shows?
I guess you had a cat. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The comic queen. She she had brought she did somehow. There was a whole series of miscommunications on that show, but she didn't realize she was supposed to have graded books even with her for some reason. And then she went and grabbed them out of the closet. Her cat had peed on them in the closet or something, and yeah, it was kind of funny.
JSS says, as a moderator, consistency is key.
It helps. Yeah, it would help a moderator to know where to be and where. I can imagine. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and JSS wants to know what your thoughts are on blind bags.
I have nothing against them personally. I've bought some. I have opened some. I think as far as a content creator, they do fine as far as you know um, shorts and stuff go. But as far as like as collecting, again, it's like if you're really cool in like the Mark Spear stuff, some of those covers are cool. And if you're really really into that genre and his art, hey, power to them and whoever's doing it. Obviously, it's a way that the publishers and the creators are trying to maximize their revenue, and that's fine. I don't
Hey,
know.
DJ.
It's capitalism. Um, where and I've done the opposite end. I've done stuff where I've bought blind bags, and then more recently, like the New York Comic Con, there was a bunch of Transformers blind bags. I chose not to. I looked at them. I saw them selling on whatnot and on auctions, and they were going. The blind bags were selling for over $100 and stuff. And I said, nope, I'm not buying. I'm not doing that. So I just waited until they hit eBay, and then I bought the books I wanted off of eBay
Right.
from the people who bought all the blind bags. So I don't begrudge anybody anything. Look, I buy mystery boxes. A blind bag is nothing more than a mystery box in reality, and everybody, it's your money. Do what you want to do.
Right. Yeah, and sometimes you can get really lucky. I think Paul scored a big one with the blind as a bat.
Oh, he absolutely did. I got a couple, and one I sold and one I donated to C3 and did well for us. Um, I don't. Yeah, I think the Mark Spears ones were more fun because they were closer to they were 4.99. There's some other ones coming down the pipeline that at the end of this year that are going to be. I've pre-ordered some where I was able to buy a a certain quantity and I was able and get a bulk discount. So
Okay.
that way it's basically buying them at like I think I'm paying like on average price is like 3.99 a one. So that's fine. But some of the ones that are super expensive, that's fine too if what's in there is a value. But at the end of the day, if somebody wants to buy them, then great. It's nothing new. Well, walking there's you can still buy a billion Walking Dead blind bags out there from their from their anniversary, right? The 15th anniversary of Walking Dead. They issued like all these blind bags out there. You can go pick them up for $1. Nobody wanted to buy them.
I
They
don't
felt
even
there
know if
wasn't
my
value in them.
I don't even know if my local comic shop has or has had blind bags, but I'm not there until like 9 o'clock at night, so they're probably gone by the time I'm getting there.
I know there was a lot of hate directed at them as money grabs and everything else. And as collectors, you just got to look at it like this. It's like, first of all, those businesses, that's what they're doing. They're called business. They're
Yeah,
in the market to make money. So yeah, it's just like foil and other variant covers, right? As collectors, you just have to decide, is it something that you want to participate in or not? And let them know via your wallet. If it's something that you don't want to participate in because you don't like them, then don't buy any.
yeah. They can't
And
make you spend. They can't make you pull the card out of your wallet and put it in.
exactly. And it's the same thing. Like I decided to start telling Marvel how I feel about Spider-Man by only getting one issue. I'm no longer buying the variant covers and stuff on that. But Transformers, I'm loving the hell out of that. So I'm buying a billion variant covers. I'm letting them know by buying a ton of covers, right? I'm speaking with my wallet. Now, my voice is pretty quiet, so I'm sure they don't hear me, but that's fine.
Right. Um, Going back real quick to your Thursday show, your only my slabs.
Yeah,
Oh, so, are you going to create one big long playlist for all of those videos since you
there
have
is.
1,200? Are you going to go through all 1,200 of them eventually, or is that your
Yeah,
goal?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That was somebody suggest. Yeah, it's funny. That show is a suggestion from the community. Um, in that I would get comments people say, "When are you going to show off your books? When are you going to show off your books?" And I had done things here and there, but I hadn't gone back and revisited it. And I decided, okay, well, let's see how it goes. I remember early on, one of the comments I got was when I mentioned that this was, people had asked for this, and they're like, "Nobody's asking for this, Rob. You're full of crap." It gets enough views. I'm happy with it, and it is as somebody who likes to share content of my books, it makes more sense that I'm showing off some of the books in my collection rather than me trying to buy so much stuff that I have 2 days worth of purchases to show a week.
Yeah, I mean that's an expensive habit to keep up.
Yeah, exactly. It means I can buy bigger bangers and I can focus on quality instead of quantity.
Yeah. Um, so your process, I mean, it's pretty simple now that you have your a consistent formula that
Mhm.
you're doing. So
Yeah, and I'm not trying to create. Every once in a while, I like to. I'll have an idea. It's like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if I did this, and I'll start to explore something else, like a more scripted type of show. But at the end of the day, though, it doesn't ever seem to really fit a ton with what I'm doing. Um, so to be regular, and that's where like the stuff I come up with an idea like the stuff for E-Man and I that we're working on. That's kind of fun because it is kind of like there's a script element to it,
mhm.
but it's still not a scripted show. It's more like, there's an outline of, hey, here's what we're gonna do, and working on developing that outline and all that other stuff gets fun. But then once it's there, I'm glad to have it in place and be able to just repeat it over and over again, and not have to constantly recreate the wheel.
Can I make, or can I take a guess and think that your collaboration with E-Man might have something to do with Transformers?
Absolutely not. There might be Transformers that appear in it, but it's actually, I'll tell you, look, we both live here in the greater San Francisco Bay Area,
Okay.
and we run into each other quite frequently at various conventions and comic book shows and whatnot, toy shows and whatnot. So so I came up with the idea. So wouldn't it be kind of cool to do like a Siskel and Ebert type show where we would periodically either one, go out to a local show, or we go visit a local comic book shop together, and then we will rate it. We'll give it a comic book grade over different categories that we have set up, and then an overall grade, and kind of tell what we think about the shop and or a show, and whether or not it can be there. So that's the premise of it. And the first episode we're doing is on San Francisco Fan Expo
Okay.
that we were both at. So that one will probably be popping out pretty in the next week or two, I would imagine. Um, but yeah, it's kind of fun. I got kind of the idea, a combination between our seeing each other at these things, and then a different friend of mine who had called me up, and I did this coffee and comics where I went to this shop that I don't normally go to and had a blast. And I thought, yeah, that'd be kind of fun to do that with somebody on a regular basis and kind of do this. And yeah,
That's cool. So I look forward to watching that when it comes out. So, and
thank you.
it'll be a collaboration. So it'll be on both of your channels.
Correct.
So cool. Um, so how do you engage with your community? Is it mostly through Instagram or Facebook, or what's the best way to
Yeah.
communicate out other than just putting the video out and hoping people watch?
So for me, it's I don't do a lot on Facebook as far as my comic book stuff. And there are people in the comic book community that I have friend on Facebook and stuff, but for the most part, I Facebook has stuff where I put some stuff that's a little more personal. So I don't necessarily make that available to everybody. But Instagram, by far, is the main tool for the masses, and then secondly is the YouTube channel itself. Obviously, the ability to talk to people directly and engage. It's why I like live streams. I'm on these different hangout shows and stuff, is the ability to not only talk with friends within the like-minded friends stuff here in the community, but also there's so many of you, these great folks here in the chat, this interacting with them and be able to ask them questions and and back and forth and stuff. That to me is why I do those things. Is I just it's great. This is the greatest way to make those connections with folks. And
Right.
what you're doing of engaging and bringing up those comments is the way to do that, right? There's a lot of YouTubers who will do a live stream where they have this chat and they won't acknowledge the chat at all. They won't engage with the chat, and that will not endear you to them, and
Right.
you will not get the repeat and stuff. It's everybody likes to be acknowledged, and yeah, big shout out to the community that turns out to watch us talk about paper. You
Expensive
guys are the
paper.
best.
Yeah, it does. Having the chat there definitely does help um, make it more entertaining for yourself and that. And so, I mean, I know somebody had a talking about or asking a question about selling on whatnot, and my wife was like answering it, and it's like the biggest thing is just got to be comfortable talking to yourself or talking into the void, because especially on whatnot, nobody really replies on the chat all that much. It's not nearly as conversational as a YouTube live stream.
There are people who do a very good job of engaging with their chat during it, and I think that not look, I've never sold on whatnot, and I barely go on there,
Right.
but as a former salesperson, professional salesperson in one of my earlier career endeavors, I will tell you that making a connection with the people that you're trying to sell to is key to fostering again that community, because the people who do the best on Whatnot are people who build and develop a community.
Hmm.
And so much like anything else, you need to make those connections. You need to engage with them so that they feel that they're there for to you. They're more than simply a transactional experience, that there's a personal experience that's engaged, that's there as well. And that is what, regard any business that you're in, you should always view your consumers as partners, as friends, as it should be. It's a true relationship. It should never be simply transactional. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I've had better experience, or no, I've had better luck selling women's clothing on Whatnot on my wife's channel
Mhm.
than I have selling comic books on my channel. But it's probably because it's been more, I was more endearing to the consumer because I'm a guy trying to sell women's clothing and I have no idea what I was doing. And
They
I've
thought it
even
was
had,
humorous. They thought
eh,
you looked okay, so they were
yeah,
they're interested. It's like your wife would probably do better selling comics than you would,
she
simply because
does, and I actually started
she
telling
looks
dad
she's
jokes.
easier on the eyes, and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Get it?
so
Yeah.
actually, Mark and his family bought clothes from me on one show. So before they went on vacation.
Nice.
Um, so, what tools, gear, or apps do you use to put your product out there for people to see?
So, um, from an equipment standpoint wise, I've got I joke that I have a $60 webcam that I think now I've upgraded to a $70 webcam, but which is, people would joke how it glitches and stuff, but ultimately, none of my equipment's majorly expensive. I get, this is probably this microphone is probably the most expensive at like 100 and something dollars for the whatever this the Blue Yeti um, stuff. But I edit on I have up I use what this Clipchamp. It comes with Windows.
Okay,
I do pay for the premium now, so I get some extra features in it and whatnot. But I've never been, when I learned how to do editing, it was on tape.
okay,
Digital, I mean, digital is not that different in reality, but I mean, I don't want to. This is a hobby. I don't want to. I'm not here to spend tons and tons of time learning software and doing all this other stuff. And I love watching DJ. I love watching uh, E-Man. I love watching people that do put the time into their content
right,
and put out some fabulous, highly produced content. It looks amazing. It's not who I am,
right,
and so I try to keep my content true to me and my channel, and that is that I'm just the simple guy. Uh, but because thankfully by going to Clipchamp now, because for the longest time I was using apparently a video editor that was uh, end of life 5 years ago, and I had no idea about it. I do have some new tools at my wit, and sometimes I get excited about, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and over produce it perhaps. But you know, I'm an amateur. Let's have fun. So yeah,
yeah,
I use generic stuff. Clipchamp. I use a cheap webcam. I got a microphone. You record on my computer. I edit this. I use StreamYard. Obviously, it's probably the most expensive thing I do nowadays, thanks to them constantly raising their prices. And then I use, like I've talked about earlier, I use GPT as a tool for helping me to optimize my channel descriptions, for getting the show titles. And recently, I've experimented with asking it to help me compose thumbnails.
um, I pretty much do everything the same way. I even use Clipchamp. That's my
Mhm.
software that I use. On Clipchamp, have you used the auto cut to get the transcripts from your videos?
I have not, because I mean, I've not thought about doing that to be able to utilize that to feed that into my AI ahead of time. But I mean, I've never really done it simply just because YouTube already creates a transcript.
What I only use it
But
myself as the way to I so I can take that into GPT to give it the full context of what the video is,
yeah,
so
I
it
never
can
thought
then
about that. Instead, I'm sitting there typing out like the gist of it to it. That's
yeah,
I might experiment with that. Thank you.
yeah. So do
See,
the auto cut. It'll
everybody
give me
should
the
learn.
transcript, copy paste that here it is. Tell me the best video, the best titles and description for this video. Go.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. I didn't think about that. I always said, man, it'd be nice to have the transcript to do it, but I never thought about pulling the transcript from the Clipchamp.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the tool I don't like though about Clipchamp is their supposed auto editor that where you can put like a video in there and have it auto put it together. I don't like it. It sucks.
Yeah, I haven't had much luck with that either. So
I've tried using it mostly where I'll take like some B-roll footage, upload it, and ask it to generate something, and it'll give you your choice of either full length 5 minutes or 1 minute. It's like I don't want full length. I want it's trying to, and then what it like it won't. I don't know the way it puts the pieces together. It seems to me like it's not real. It just instead it seems to focus on doing some like artsy fartsy stuff where like the stupid videos like half on one half of the screen here and the other half of the videos over here. It's too focused on doing that kind of garbage rather than actually making a good sequence
right.
of of content. And so forget it. Let's just but
It's like arguing with
maybe
ChatGPT and saying, "Did you not understand what I asked you to do?"
oh, that's the greatest thing. Let me tell you the trick to functioning with that stuff is use one AI tool to teach to give you instructions for another AI tool. So, like I would never ask GPT to create a thumbnail because even if you ask it to use a photo and do it, it deconstructs the photo and then creates an artwork version rendering of you.
Right.
Whereas Gemini will take the photo and use the photo. So but Gemini sucks at understanding certain things. And so there you can use these different strengths of different things to say, hey, here's what, here's what I want. Create a script that I can use or create the instructions that I
Right.
can then provide to an AI. Then take those and feed it to another one. Or a lot of times I'll work with Gemini. I'll say, I want to create a custom GPT. And here's what I want it to be able to do. Help me create the instructions for a custom. Then you take that and apply it to the other.
Right.
Best way to utilize some of that stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll use GPT and say, "Give me the thumbnail prompt ideas to take to Nano Banana," which is Gemini's image.
Yeah.
And with that one, that's the best image generator I've seen because you can actually set the aspect ratio. Whereas,
Sometimes I
well,
was I
no,
was
if
fighting I was fighting with one today where it kept generating a 4 by 3, even though I kept telling it I didn't want that.
well, if you go into actual the Google AI Studio, do a search for that, and you can
Pulling
find,
down the curtain, folks.
yeah,
Now
you
people are going
can
to tell us now that everything we do is 100% AI. Now watch.
you can find the Nano Banana thing there, and actually has a slider where you can set the aspect ratio
Mm.
for the image that you're creating, and it locks it in.
Well, there we are. Now, you guys, in case you guys didn't know, we are AI. I am not real. Matter of fact, I'm really a clean shaved man with a full head of hair.
The glitching is the matrix trying to catch up. Yeah. So yeah, that's a I do use a GPT to, like I said, build the prompt for the thumbnails sometimes to take over to Nano Banana. So
Yeah.
it has been
they're they're fine tools to use, but they're tools just like anything else.
right,
At the end of the day, if you want authentic connection with your audience, you gotta be you. You've got to be the one who you got to create content. It's not content creator and stuff, but it is a useful tool in helping to get your, in my opinion, to help you to get your content out to as many people potentially, or at least allow other people to find your content
Right.
easier.
Not everybody's an artist in that sense, and that so you got to be able to get the thought out of your head and onto the screen. So,
Indubitably.
um, are there? So, last question for you: what advice would you give to someone starting a comic book YouTube channel today?
Be you. Do what you want. Don't try to be somebody else. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And people know when you watch something, you know whether somebody's genuine or not. And so if you try to be Comic Tom, if you try to be Swaggle Haas or anybody else, I mean, that's them. That's their thing. Maybe that's not even that. Maybe because they've changed who they are to reflect a certain commercializing because they've gotten so big. But know what is your goal? If your goal is to do that, then great. Then maybe emulate them and follow what they're doing and stuff, right? And there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that'll tell you all these hints for how to utilize AI suggestions and or YouTube's own suggesting tool on finding content that other people that building content to match audiences, as opposed to what I do. I make content and hope that the audience that wants my content finds it. You know, those are two different those are two different elements, right? There's Are you making content for other people, or are you making content for yourself and anybody who happens to want to watch your stuff? Those are know what you want to do and be true to that. The other thing is, if you're going to be doing it the hard, what I like to call the hard way, which is making content that you want and hoping that people find it, know it's going to take a while.
Hmm.
It's growth, organic growth takes a long time. It's a slog. You'll have times where you get like nice little bursts and it can be disheartening, but have friends that are support, be supportive. There's so many channels out there that I'm blown away. Sometimes I look at them and go, man, why aren't these channels bigger than they are? But it's just are you then you can find little things like, oh, they're not doing this or they're not doing that, but that's not who they are. That's not what they want to do. So you know what? That's fine. You can't think that I'm going to be a huge celebrity on YouTube. I mean, I know I don't I'm not young enough and well endowed enough to get 100,000 views doing nothing.
Right.
So and then all I'm doing is showing off expensive paper. That's a very niche. We're in a niche collector's world, and in a very small corner of this world, there's a few people who are big names within that community. But even the biggest names in our community are nothing
Right.
on YouTube in general. And so the rest of us,
Yeah.
we're we're even we're just we're just we're just out there. We exist, and maybe somebody acknowledges us, but be fine with that.
Yeah. Speaking of like
Have
how
fun.
about the size and all that of comic books and YouTube, I was talking to my aunt the other day, and I told her about my latest video that's actually
Mhm.
done very well. Probably the best performing video I've had in the shortest time frame. And she's like, "There's really that many comic book YouTuber or comic book people that watch YouTube?" I'm like, "Yeah, there are, but
There's a
I'm
lot
still
more actually.
what?
There's a lot more
Oh
actually,
yeah,
but
but
yeah.
yeah, there's a lot more. I mean, like, and then I told her like, go look at Variant Comics, who has like 2 million subscribers and that shit. Wow. Okay.
Everything is relative, and there I keep talking when I talk to, like, especially within the Black Sheep club, there, some of the YouTubers that are there, they have 100 subs, a couple hundred subs, and they think, oh, Rob, you're this big thing. I keep reminding all the time, I'm not a big channel. I am amongst a very, very small number of people in a very, very small corner of the YouTube universe. I have a show and a mustache. Beyond that,
Award winning.
beyond that, I'm I'm a nobody, and I'm no. There's in the grand scheme of YouTube, there's no difference between a 7,000 sub channel and a 100 sub channel.
Right.
And anybody who thinks to themselves, who gets big, starts to get a big head about, oh, I got 5,000 subs, and that shit doesn't matter squat, man. There are people with way less subs that do way better content and do way more stuff than what I put out. I've just I've all I've done is just put out a lot
Right.
over a period of time. And I've been lucky that a few videos have done well enough to get some attention. But I don't care about that. I care about the connections, the doing these shows, coming on, talking to you, talking to people in the chat. The charity work that we do with DJ and Mark, and the way that this community has rallied around comics curing cancer and does stuff like that. That is so incredible and fills me with far more joy and than anything else. So yeah, those are the things that mean something. This is the YouTube is just me trying to stay off drugs and not go to the bar and drink, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun meeting and virtually meeting and talking to people that I hope to at some point actually meet in person and talk to in person. So like I'm planning to come to Heroes this year, so I look forward to seeing all y'all there.
It is so incredible, that event. I mean, Mark has told us for years, and there's a lot of, and I should rephrase this. I don't want to give all the credit to Mark, because reality is he'll get a big hit. No, I mean, within my group, the group, the people that I'm in, Mark was a big voice advocate. There's a lot of people who've been going to Heroes Con long before the rest of us started showing up, but from my from within my blinders,
Right.
right, my perception going there, it definitely has, amongst the people within our circles, it has continued to expand, and the people showing up to Heroes has made that so amazing. Beyond the fact that it is like the mecca as far as comic book shows go, for those people that want to go to a comic book show as opposed to a big convention full of tangential properties, right?
Right.
it's it's incredible, and it becomes, and that social element that ties to this, because of our YouTube connections and our Instagram connections and getting to meet everything, just makes it that much greater. um it's the point where, like, I really dreading missing it this coming year. um but it's also why, for me, I I got so much joy out of those connections. That's why I chose to seek out joining the Black Sheep, the comic book
Mm.
club. Was all I got so many friends out east and stuff, and I get to meet them. Those are fun stuff. I wanted, especially when I joined, it was focused, with the focus being, when I joined originally, the original club being a West Coast chapter, was getting to meet more West Coast collectors, and for me to be able to meet up with collectors at cons that I would see on a regular basis and make those connections and stuff, so that way when I go to those events, I get to have a piece. It's not the same scale, but to have that piece of that's phenomenal.
Okay. So you're not going to make it to Heroes this year?
Unfortunately not. My youngest is graduating from college that same weekend, uh at opposite ends of the country.
I guess you got to be there.
I have spent a lot more money on her tuition than I have on comics. Yes, that's a so I will be there for that, absolutely 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Her paper's a little bit more expensive.
Exactly. That her piece of paper is far better, more expensive than any other expensive paper I have here. But also, you know, this is despite however I would joke about so many different things, I wouldn't miss my youngest's graduation from
Right.
college for the world. I mean, it's, so I like to pretend I'm just an aloof individual, but in reality, I love my kids. So
Well,
don't
that's
let
good.
them know. It's a good
That's
thing they
good
don't
to
watch my
hear.
content.
We'll
I got
we'll
to make
keep
sure that they think that they're replaceable like a drop of a hat.
yeah, we'll keep it on the down low. It's only going to be on
Thank
this
you.
channel.
Nobody
That
tell anybody.
all right. Well, is there anything you would like to add or want to promote? What do you got
Uh,
coming up on the Rob's Fast Stacks of
Funny you
Comics
should
YouTube?
ask. We have a Saturday. We do a show called Only Slabs, where I feature collectors such as you and others on the channel, showing off graded books that make up their collection. We get to know them. So that show, of course, always there. We hope that everybody comes out on Saturdays, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Uh, we do a show. I think we do about 20 shows a year out of 26 weeks. Uh, we do also have coming up at the week, the Saturday after Christmas will be Chris and I, we do our annual top 10 from 2025, our Only Slab special, where we will sit down together and, as he says, it's not a competition, but we'll compete to see who has the best 10 books, from graded books pickups for the year. Then I do my Monday and Thursday stuff, and I'll show up around YouTube. But uh, I really hope that everybody, like I said, just be, for everything else, the most important thing. This is just a hobby, man. Don't take it too seriously. And at the end of the day, you should be do what you want. It's
It's
your
a hobby,
money.
not a hustle.
For some people it's a hustle and great for them, they're going to follow a different thing, but for most of us it's just a hobby.
Right.
And for that, do what you want, be unapologetic about collecting what you want to collect. And if that means that you want to collect low grade books and you want them all raw, and somebody else is telling you, oh, you need to get this book in a 9.8, hell with them. Let them buy it for you if that's what they think that you should have. Otherwise, you should get what you want and enjoy the connections with the individuals. I mean, like DVH, I can't tell you, I love the connection I've made with DVH and his family. Matter of fact, I think I saw my wife bring home some wrapping paper so I can get their Christmas gift together so I can ship it out to them finally. But there's, some connections you're going to make with folks deeper than others, but they're just because you maybe never meet them doesn't make them any less of a friend,
Right.
and doesn't mean you should value that friendship any less than anything else. So, man, I love this community and the love that I got into doing this YouTube stuff for no other purpose than to keep me from being a grumpy hermit, and go actually interacting with folks, even if it's from the comfort of my own home most of the time. So, yeah, guys, just be you guys, man. Be you, because you're
Yeah,
great.
I really do enjoy the hangout shows. It is kind of a little hard when everybody tries to talk at one time.
I am famously for being frustrated when I get spoken over. Yes. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not noticeable.
I know. I hide it well, right?
Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah.
uh, so everybody, Rob has videos out on Monday and Thursday,
Monday,
and
Thursday, pre-recorded, Saturday live on
yep.
my channel. Yep, and then I'll be around other places.
So check that out when you get a chance.
More importantly, check out Comics Curing Cancer.
Yes,
Still got
QR
some time
codes
to
at the
get
top.
last minute donations for the end of the year, whether you want to just donate, get that last minute tax write off, whether you want to buy a nice Comics Curing Cancer shirt to give somebody for Christmas, whether you want to pick up the extended through the end of this year for the people bundle with our
Okay.
exclusive comics, you can get that. All those things available with those proceeds going to Comic Screen Cancer to help us get a little bit more before the end of the year. So if we can't get that number up.
I think I'm going to be picking up one of those for myself.
That's awesome.
I'll get me another art book. I already got that one, but I'll get another one. So I got to do a pre-recorded one, or I got to record one. I got to do all of this. This was the giveaway that I won from the Council of Comics.
That's one hell of a giveaway.
Yeah, I was very surprised, but very excited. So I gotta record that. Some other videos every now and then I do this. I'm going to do the comic channel origins every other Sunday is what my schedule is going to be. And on the opposite ones, I'm going to try to do a new show where I'm doing Comics to Cash, where I talk to comic book resellers. And last week I spoke with my channel sponsor, Ron's Comic Closet. And this coming Sunday, I'm going to be interviewing Jim from Bronzeville Comics. So, who he does a Monday night whatnot show every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time that converts to over there on your side of the country. But
I'm 2 hours behind the Central.
Okay. So I'll be talking to Jim from Bronzeville, and he sells on Whatnot and eBay and other places. So, but check that out. And that's all I got going on. I hope everybody's had a great time. Thank you for being here. And my name's Bryant. This is Rob. And thank you, everybody. And we will see you later. Thanks. See y'all later. Bye.